Flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome to our meeting. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from October 1st and October 6th.
On everything.
Yeah. Me too.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of October 1st and October 6th, 2025. I'll second that.
Motion by Chris, second by Taylor. Approve the minutes of those of the 6th and the 1st and the 6th. All those in favor?
I'm gonna abstain because I'm present.
Oh, because you weren't.
Was not in attendance.
And next.
And I would just like to clarify for the record that that's the first couple of times that I've missed a meeting in half year.
Yeah.
Well, I won't get perfect attendance.
Next is. Lost me.
Department.
Department reports and chief.
The only one here. Good evening. Fire department's currently wrapping up its busiest month of the year. I stated at the last meeting I attended what was coming up, but I can say we completed several things. Started out with Sparky breakfast, then we had fire prevention week activities with all the kiddos visiting the fire station. We had rides to school for 12 kiddos. That was a blast. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it due to my work strengths, but I had several firefighters that volunteered to make that fest happen, and had a lot of happy faces and parents for sure. Did our fall harvest sale fundraiser for our scholarship, and we're gonna be wrapping up this week with Halloween. So first we thought the forecast was gonna be a heavy rains, terrible conditions, but they've since cleared up. I think it's gonna be a good evening. So looking forward to seeing over 600 trick-or-treaters visit downtown Main Street. Just so you know, we've changed our hours of operation at the station for that event. It's historically been 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock. We'll have decided to do 5 o'clock to 8, just because the first hour is just a couple of kids that trickle in. So we're gonna focus more on the 5 to 8, it's our busiest time. We'll be selling hot dogs and hamburgers, and they'll be giving away bags of popcorn and hot cocoa free. It's usually a big hit. Like I said, last year, I think we had a record 630 kids that came through the doors. And I remember last year, Dan, sorry to interrupt you.
No.
I remember last year was a super warm
Warm, yeah.
day, and it was like,
We find
It
we're
was
actually busier when it's colder or actually misted or rainy.
Yeah.
Because they like to come indoors, get,
Right.
some shelter,
Right.
to get, the parents like to get, maybe some food, it's, middle of supper time, so
Sure.
they'll hang out and let their kids run free down Main Street.
yeah, last year, if I recall, we discussed the possibility of closing the street or a section of the street for that period of time. And I know it's a little bit late to be thinking about that now, but we might want to consider that if we have a repeat occurrence of what I saw last year.
I would love to see that happen. It's the logistics of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it'd have to go all the way up to Berry
Down
Road and
Berry,
Blue Road.
Great, 135, Green Mill,
Yeah.
probably Mulch.
The Welch, yeah.
But it's still busy right there by the
Yeah.
post office.
Yeah.
The cruisers do a great job. They're usually at the bookends, and they have their cruiser lights. It slows traffic down, but it's still very, very.
Well, there's a lot of kids running around with somewhat less adult supervision, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a good time to chime in, but that's the reason I came tonight. I guess it'd be a good time to discuss it. And I'm a fairly new resident. My name's Tyler Chasen, everybody. I live up on Academy. I have a 3-year-old going and 4-year-old, so we're big into Halloweening and trick or treating. And I did notice that was our first year last year going down there. And I come from a town over in Dixfield where we actually growing up, that's what they did. They shut down the main street, essentially, same type of thing. And honestly, I was actually kind of surprised it wasn't shut down when we went down there. Just because it's basically, like you said, it gets dark. And the other thing about this year too, it's on a Friday afternoon. So as we know, it's a huge, Main Street's a big commuter. Anybody that's coming from Wales, Sabattis, you're going down Main Street. And as we know, those people going home on Friday, they're not going slow. Just from, I walk you guys have probably seen me walking my golden doodle around town. Yeah, and just from being out at those times of nights in the afternoons when people are coming and going home, I definitely think, I personally think it would be make a huge impact for safety. Because all it takes is for one person on their phone, the kid pops out, but you know what I mean? So I know it's definitely like logistical, and probably a headache for a lot of people, but I think it would be super important. You just kind of mentioned the 600 something people that were getting, that's a lot of people, a lot of kids, you know?
Well, that's just only that entered the fire department. There was, probably 3X on the street.
Yeah, at any given time, absolutely.
Yeah. So I would definitely support that big time. And I think there'll be a lot of people too, because the kids being out and it's only, as we know, it's like a 1 minute diversion for anybody going through town, you know what I mean? Obviously concerns wise, I kind of thought about that. The fire department would probably be the biggest concern.
Concern every year. Yeah.
Right. And obviously you could keep that road open down to Pleasant. Just kind of looking at it as and just making sure, hey, diversion down Pleasant to on 135, hit Berry and, pop you right there. I mean, like I said, it's a 1 minute diversion for a lot of people, but it's not, only a minute later. So I don't think a lot of people really care that much. So,
I can talk it over with Paul tomorrow, our police chief.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, get his thoughts. When I say logistics, it's manpower. Because,
right.
He's only got a couple officers. It's a busy night for them. So I know that's always been his dilemma, and it's not just, Monmouth, it's Winthrop too. And then as far as firefighters, we're all volunteers and we're trying to run our event with our auxiliary that evening. So that takes several people. Plus we have the Firehouse Museum now. So we've got a couple of people down there doing that as well. So we're kind of skeletal, no pun intended. But if we can pull it off, right, I would say, yeah, Blue Road at least, maybe to Maple. Maybe we could shut those down.
You could have your event at the new one and then shut it down like you usually do for Apple Fest?
No,
No.
because our kitchen facility and everything.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's a station. And it's a larger facility to hold people, because we usually have about 75 to 80 people
Okay.
inside. We get the bathroom and, yeah. But yeah, I'll mention it.
That'd be awesome.
No promises. But
Thank you, Dan. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
If it's
great.
possible, do they need official authorization if they decide they want to do it?
The board has to close the street. So yes, you guys have to authorize that. So if you
Right.
want to do it now to avoid having to avoid having you come back tomorrow or something to do it, then
I'll make a motion that we close Main Street, some portion of Main Street,
At the police chief's discretion.
at the police chief's discretion, for the Halloween celebration. And it doesn't have to happen, but if you guys can pull it off, then you'd be authorized to do it.
And we could even do like 6 to 8 instead of 5 to 8, just when it gets darker and.
Yeah, well, it's around dusk. I mean, that's when I get most, I was there, handing out candy with the police department, and around dusk, there was, just a lot of fun mayhem and traffic. And people trying to leave and they can't leave because there's kids. So.
I'd second that motion.
Okay, so, all those in favor?
Thank you. All right, also during this month, we've been very busy with our training. We're wrapping up our firefighter 1 and 2 pro board certification training. Can't wait for that to be done. I'm participating in that. We will be testing next month for that, just like. Tony's not here, but I wanted to thank him. I had asked him at a department head meeting if he could bush hog the north. He did. He had a crew go up there and it looks much better. Cutting back that brush, did a good job. As far as, I didn't look up fire calls, but we've been pretty steady, going out on several calls this month. We had a brush fire. We had, this past week, we had a mutual aid call to Litchfield for a structure fire. Daytime call, very limited people. I actually, myself and one of my officers was the only two on an engine for the primary to mutual aid. Then we had a second engine follow up to help with the water shuttle. But that's daytime calls for the volunteer world. Vehicle crashes, we had one the other today, actually, Dennis Lavelles in the back room. We actually helped him stop and did traffic till state police got there and the fire crew showed up. Actually, it started in Monmouth, but then it ended up in Wales. Just a weird call how it came in, but thank God the guy wasn't seriously hurt because the bumper went right through his windshield from the other vehicle. Just missed his head by inches, so very fortunate. And then this past month, we've been testing. It's our annual tests of hoses, ladders, all our pumpers, servicing the pumpers, all our SCBA equipment. It's just that time of year we're doing all our mandatory testing. And currently we're doing our stickers and servicing of all four apparatus. So I'm gonna be getting a quote for 2 tires for engine 81. They can be pretty expensive, so we'll get that priced out right now. But we need to get a sticker, so it's gonna get done. And the last thing I had is just an update at your request, Justin. I did present to the Economic Development Committee on the UTV. They chose not to vote on it. They want to get some more information on budget stuff for the TIF, so it got tabled. It'll be brought up at a future meeting, so we're to get more information on that. Okay. That's all I got, unless anybody's got any questions for the fire department. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
My only thing is the phone calls that I placed each one of you individually the last couple days. What I'm thinking is that I can bring, the consensus is that you'd like to fix that so that the due date is actually the 31st, which was what we put out to the public and what the intention was. The way the language is it's incorrect. It's actually the 1st right now. So we have time to fix this issue. It's not the end of the world, but I'm thinking I can just bring that warrant to you at your next regularly scheduled meeting. And then we could do, I think probably the earliest that we could get that to do that would probably be November 24th, which is the Monday before Thanksgiving. And I don't know if that sort of timeline works for you folks. To do
time.
It would probably be at 6 o'clock, but it would be on the Monday before, because you don't have a regular board meeting scheduled that week because it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So it would be that on that Monday, we could do it. Mark, he requested that it be held here so that it could be on Zoom. People cannot participate through that. That's not legal. But they could, we would have a recording and they could watch it, but they cannot participate.
I think that there's a lot of rehearsals and things from what my memory of what's going on at Cumston.
Right, and I believe that's true as well.
They've got lots of-
Mark he's not here, so I'm just kind of telling you what he spoke to me about. He'd like it to be able to be recorded.
Not sure if that's an Economic Development Committee night.
If it is,
We can
you can move them. You are the primary board, so they can do what you ask them to do.
Yeah, we'll move it.
No offense, Kent. Yeah. Does that sound like a plan? So I'll bring that warrant to you at your next regular meeting, which is what, November 9th?
Just for the sake of everyone who's watching online and for the recording, could you give us just a quick summary of what the mistake was and how we're gonna go about?
Sure. So at the special town meeting that was requested by the board to defer the interest payment, the word, it should have been 60 days past the tax due date. Instead, the word commitment was used. The commitment was done on October first. So 60 days past October first is obviously not December 31st. So there was a language issue in the warrant article that does not do what you intended it to do. So.
And what we told people it was gonna do.
Right, exactly. So we need to fix it. And that was the consensus of each one of you when I spoke to you individually about it, was that you wanted to make that correction.
Okay, so then, at our next meeting, we'll approve a warrant that will correct the typographical error.
Yep.
And then the warrant will be publicly posted. People will have a chance to read it, understand it. And there will be a town meeting on Monday, November 24th.
I believe that's 24th. Let me double check. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. That's what I wrote down.
To consider this particular warrant.
And that will clear it up.
And that'll
So
clear it up before any interest comes due
that's correct.
under the current
Under the current word.
approved
Yes.
language.
Yep.
Gotcha.
One thing that I did, when we did that Monday, when we approved that,
Yeah, the warrant that to do that, yes.
I only got a chance to see it when I signed it. I mean, I think if I had had a copy of it, I don't know if I would have seen that it was wrong, but that it should have been changed or not.
Yeah. At that time, you remember, we had to hold basically an emergency select board meeting so that we could meet the timeline so that they could have the special town meeting to get it done before the due date, because the due date was going to be October 15th. So we were trying to slide all this. We were under all this time constraint. So in order to get you to approve the warrant 7 days before they held the town meeting, we really didn't have any time was the issue. Is we were scurrying because the reval was late. So we were trying to fix, several problems in like a 2-week period, and it's not obviously holding special town meetings and special board meetings, and they all have to be posted, and it's hard to when you can't take a breath, this is what happens, mistakes are made, and this one's my fault. I used the word commitment instead of due date, so I apologize.
I think it's really KRT's doing it late. This would have.
That's true. That's true as well.
All this dancing around and crap.
What's the actual date of the interest, the before interest?
Right now, the interest would accumulate as of December 1st, but that was not the intent of the town meeting. It was supposed to be the 31st. So we have to fix it to make it to what everybody thought they were doing before. It's a language problem.
And I've seen both of it, like worded both ways, and the question be asked on Facebook, and there was never really an answer on Facebook, so I think.
Yeah, the town doesn't communicate through Facebook. That's kind of been its policy, so it doesn't answer questions that are posed to it on there. It's basically a bulletin board. So until I got an email from that same individual, and then when I read the way that he wrote it out in an email, I had a better understanding. Ken actually, I think, sent me the same question. I answered him and I thought it was fine. But then when he wrote it out in like a long, in like paragraph form, I was like, I think he's got a point. So then I started looking at it and he was correct. So that's really what brought it to our attention. So,
Well, we've got an avenue to fix it.
yes, we can fix it.
It doesn't seem like there's gonna be any harm other than having to set up this new. It's kind of a pain in the butt, so set up a new meeting. Can we talk about our revenue anticipation note?
Yep.
Have we had to borrow any more money?
But no,
And when do you anticipate, no pun intended, that we will be able to pay it back?
we are right now, we're sort of in the process of we're collecting tax money at a pretty good rate at this point. So we think we're going to be able to get caught back up, but I don't have a good answer for you because we're sort of playing the game where we got to make sure there's enough cash in there, and the school, right, is 600,000 a month.
Right.
So it doesn't take a lot for it to put us kind of in a pickle.
Right.
So I don't have that
Okay.
for you at this point because we're still trying to catch up with the bills that we didn't pay.
And so far, we've withdrawn $600,000?
Yes,
So it's 600,000. And the interest rate you said was?
I think it's 5.25 annually.
Okay, so I did a quick back of the envelope calculation on 5.25% of $600,000, and it turns out to be like, if if we left that balance for a year, that would be like $34,000.
Yep.
Ish. I'm imagining we're probably not gonna do that,
No, I wouldn't imagine so, no.
and that we're not gonna need to borrow more against the revenue anticipation.
I seriously doubt it.
Okay, so then it's something, you know, our actual interest is gonna be something less than $34,000.
Yeah, I wouldn't anticipate it
Yeah.
being.
And what was the penalty that KRT ended up paying us?
It was $100 a day. I think it came out to be about $2,200.
2,200, okay. And of course, they were the low bidder.
Yes.
Do you have a sense of what the next bidder was?
I don't remember.
Could you find out for us?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
I mean, this is a reasonable question that people are asking, like, okay, look, we went with the low bidder who is a qualified bidder at the time. Clearly, they're not qualified. But we did that to save taxpayers money. And then we penalized them when they didn't perform. And so the question would be like, okay, if we had the you know, magical Wayback Machine and we did it all over again and went with the next bidder, are we talking about, you know, parity? Are we talking about, I mean, was this a huge mistake or not? How big a mistake was it? And
Right.
my sense of it is, it's something less than $34,000 minus 2,200.
It was Vision, Vision Appraising, the one who did it back in '07.
Do you recall the figure?
I would have to look at my documents at home.
Yeah, I have it. I just,
Yeah, maybe-
I just don't know.
For our next meeting, maybe we
I'd be
could get to the
guessing.
bottom of it and do that sort of.
Because it was what, 2.5 years ago, so I don't remember.
Yeah. It was, you know,
But I think Vision is, could have been in the same situation because they're spread out all over the state right now too, so doing it.
I mean, KRT is the largest
Yeah.
firm that does this work in Maine.
Right.
By a
So-
long shot.
And you recommended, and Donna
And Donna and
recommended those.
She's worked with them in some of her other communities.
sure.
I mean,
Cause you have the same problems in all the communities.
no, some of them, revals typically these things do happen where they come in late. I mean, you can you can Google revaluations from everywhere and you'll see that sometimes they do. Sometimes it has to do with the amount of pushback that the company gets from the local residents. Towns that tend to do these more regularly have less sort of, if you will, outcry from the residents because they
Right.
kind of get used to doing them and
The
they.
field work, it's a little more smooth.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. When you go 20 years without doing them, people aren't used to it happening and they don't understand the process and they get frustrated and and that's all understandable. It's
Right.
just that it does slow down their work.
And when we, just comment, when we start our budgeting process and start thinking about reserving funds for sort of long-term goals that we do, like the fire department equipment fund and a lot of other things, we might want to think about reserving some funds for the next appraisal process that might be 7 or 10 years from now, but starting to set aside something so it's not a giant surprise. And so that we're not withdrawing from the undesignated fund balance from the savings account. It's a planned thing and it's something that happens a little more regularly.
Right. And the town, now that it created that reserve fund, it now exists. So the town can put money into that account at its leisure.
Right.
And it stays there, it carries forward because the town has approved it as an actual reserve fund. So you can, whatever you and the taxpayers are comfortable with, you can keep putting money in that same fund moving forward. So if you just kind of have a horizon that it's, say it's going to be another decade or so, you can figure out how much of that you want to have available when the time comes.
We did it this time. For a few years, we were setting money aside, right?
Yes, yep, that's true.
At an accelerated rate.
Yes.
Right.
There was a one-time large deposit out of the unassigned fund balance to try to get it so that we could get the project. Yeah.
So are we doing select board reports or?
Sure, you're the chair.
Well, we're doing them, but whether we want to or not, but anyway,
I don't have.
you don't have.
On Monday, I'm going to a meeting with Justin just to discuss the RSU and what the process would look like if we were to withdraw. So, and then tomorrow's the first rec committee meeting. That's all I have. And one of the questions I asked Justin to make sure that I've asked for repeatedly is that there's a number on the ballot with the yes or the no. So that when the RSU budget is on the ballot, there's a number attached to the yes or no, because there's never been a number on there ever. And the response that I got when I asked about it was, well, we send it to you at home. And, you know, they send a pamphlet that's like a piece of paper like this. Yeah, and most people go, huh? And because they don't look at it and know what it is. I mean, I read it frontwards and backwards. And then they have that pre-meeting. And then they have the referendum. And I think it's really important that people see a number attached to a yes and no, as opposed to, do you approve the budget or do you approve, you know, without a number attached to it? Because those people that haven't read the mail or gone to Pauldale High School's gym to do the little pre-meeting,
Right.
they haven't heard that number. So if you're making an educated decision on yes or no, a number should be attached to it.
What's the law say on that?
I don't know. I'm gonna ask him whether it's a, you know, whether it's set up that way on purpose or whether it's just a choice they're making. I don't know the answer. Okay.
It's always been that way. And of course, reading the trifold is complicated.
It is.
Not by all those.
So you try to pick out exactly, wait a minute, what are we on the hook for?
Go to their pre-meeting, you know, they go over, well, what they call it is the regional budget meeting. So that they go over, people can attend that and go over every line item. And you can ask for changes at that meeting and the regional budget meeting. And then we have the referendum. So when we vote, it's just a yes or a no with no number attached to it. That says, do you favor approving the regional school unit 2 budget for the upcoming school year that was adopted at the regional school unit budget meeting? That's how it reads. And of course, we have to have numbers on all of ours, so that's my request from them.
That seems pretty reasonable. I would wonder if we could make that like Monmouth specific. Like, what is Monmouth? I mean, we're asking Monmouth voters to approve this. Does the law allow us, when we publish that ballot, to say what Monmouth's responsibilities would be?
What I'm interested in is, you know, Litchfield, Wales and Sabattis has had multiple no votes on theirs.
Oh, yeah.
So how does theirs read? You know,
I don't know.
because if that's part of the discussion, you know, what do other people do?
Yeah.
And why is the number not on ours?
I don't know if it's a number or it's a different, I'm familiar with that RSU and it's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
There.
We also do not produce those. They give them to
exactly.
us.
Yes.
So the school makes those up. They pay for them. They're the ones that produce the
The
ballot.
ballot,
yeah.
Because it's their election question. I mean, we manage it with our other things, but like they are an independent, right? Like this town doesn't have any direct say over their actions other than through the school committee. So like we can certainly ask the superintendent and what they want to do. I don't think we can make them do anything. So it's a matter of whether they want to do it or not.
In the other part of that is it happens quite late in May, like the third week of May. that regional budget meeting. So if you're gonna be out of town, because this happened to me, I was gonna be gone like the first 2 weeks, the end of May, beginning of June, and I was gonna miss voting, so I went to vote absentee. And this was several years back. And I said, well, I don't have any RSU ballot in here, and they said, well, it's not ready yet.
They hadn't published it yet.
They hadn't published it yet, so, yes. So that's
That's,
another,
that strikes me as
yes,
irregular.
but, and I asked
I mean,
about it, and
'cause-
they said, well, we don't have them yet, they, you
Well,
know,
yeah, but, sorry,
because they aren't part of our ballot, so it's another printing charge
that
that,
might be another question to ask, Justin. And I don't know who, maybe the Secretary of State's office, I'm not sure exactly who would ask, where to inquire. But it seems unusual that the RSU ballot would not be, that their timeline would not
exactly,
produce a ballot question in time for absentee balloting, that all the other election questions.
They don't.
Or, yeah, I know they don't, but it seems, it seems unusual.
it's just.
Like everyone's got a deadline.
Because we
for
have to
having
have ours
stuff
prepared by
in.
a certain timeline.
Yeah,
But they don't because of this whole regional budget meeting that hasn't happened yet.
Right, and
Yeah,
right, and if it fails, right, at
Yes.
the regional budget meeting, they don't have a question to pose to anybody, so they have to have another meeting. They basically have to go through a multi-part budget approval process. They have to,
Right.
they actually have to get it approved more times than the town does to get it through. Like they essentially have an open town meeting, right, which is their regional budget meeting. That thing can fail if it wants to. People can vote up or down on all those articles there. And then because the voters in this RSU have requested that they also have the ballot question. They don't necessarily, the law doesn't require them to have a ballot question, but if the voters within that unit want it, then they have a second sort of bite at the apple to approve or deny the school budget. Some school departments don't do that
Yes.
vote.
And
They
that's
just
why
let the
we
town
had
meeting
that-
thing
Yes,
pass it.
that second question on there, whether we wanted to keep the referendum for another 3 years.
Right.
And it passed. So that we do see it in front of us as opposed to 1% of the population going to a regional budget meeting.
right.
But I can certainly look into it. I don't know how it works. It's not my wheelhouse. I don't know how the
Yeah.
school validation thing works, but I can certainly, I'll call DOE or somebody, I'll get some.
Well, anybody who's gone to the regional budget meeting, and I know this group has gone to the regional budget meeting, it could go to 1:00 in the morning.
Exactly.
Because you
Yes.
vote up and down on every line item, and then you have to come down to a happy medium, and then you vote another card, and then if that doesn't pass, you have to add some money to it, or detract some money to it and vote another card, because they have to come out with all green cards by the time they're done with their regional thing. So, one sports line could foul it up for an hour.
Have you been to them?
Oh, yes.
And they've gone on like that?
And they've gone on like that. When we first went to the RSU, it was almost every year. Because nobody knew how to do it. When we went to the RSU. We had one here, we had one
Yeah.
next door, it's no longer there, but, we went to every Richmond 1 year, and Halldale 1 year, and Monmouth 1 year. We did them all.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
I think
We got lost going to one because we didn't even know where the school was.
Yeah, I think that they rotate the regional budget meeting to a different, but there's one less to go to now.
Right. So that's why we stopped going because
Yeah.
it didn't change anything.
No.
They just moved, it got less and less and less people, and there were basically teachers, who were there, and everything passed, and even if there were 1% of us voting no, there were 5% of the teachers voting yes. So, That's why we went to referendum. That's why we vote for it.
Yes.
But you still have to go to the meeting to find out the number or read the
Or read
trifold
the trifold that comes.
to know what you're voting for.
Exactly.
And you have to remember what you paid last year.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's,
so
it's a tough process.
it is,
You know, we started at 300,000, now we're up to almost 600,000 a month.
Mhm.
People don't realize it's a month.
A month.
How many people have to pay taxes to pay that every month?
60% of our taxes.
65, yeah.
We run this whole town on 14%.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic.
So it's a good thing that at least the referendum passed, whether you
Yeah.
can add it. You know, what my suggestion would be what it is today and what it is going to be if you vote yes, because people aren't gonna remember that it was
Well,
190,000 last year and now we're asking for 620.
so if you
this-
go to their website, they have a whole budget thing. And this is from the PowerPoint
Yeah,
on there, and it
that
shows
should get mailed.
last
every-
year, yes, last year to this year, and the total increase or decrease if you live in Hollowell. So, so I would assume, you know, that, but you have to, you know, go and find
You
it.
have to know where it
Know
is and
where
how
it
to
is
do
and
it
go
and
get
be
it, so.
computer literate, which.
Yeah.
Maybe we can
Wants to do
post it, you know, before the,
It would be
No?
great if it was at least on our website
Yeah. Yeah,
before the June election,
yeah,
but you don't get the numbers until a
Exactly.
week before.
exactly. So
I don't think I've ever gotten the trifold. Like,
it goes to every person with a mailing address in Monmouth.
I don't know if I just.
Because people throw it
I've
out.
never seen one.
Because it comes as a white, it's a large white piece of paper, so it's. Yeah, and it's a trifold like this, but it's, you know, this long, so it looks like some other, you know, junk mail that you're getting, and unless you turn it over and go, oh, it's the RSU thing, and I sit down and I highlight stuff and say, and I start sending
Not even-
emails and asking questions.
Making it into every post office box.
Maybe when it's getting mailed out next time, we can just post a quick little blurb on Facebook saying, you know, this should be coming in your mailboxes soon. This does
that-
impact what you're voting on in June.
Be much better for us.
This, because it shows you pre and post.
So people can understand what, you know, they just moved in. How are they gonna know that it went up, you know, $40,000 or $400,000?
Yeah.
They're not gonna know.
Yeah. So,
Food for thought.
yeah, so those were my questions I have
Steve,
from the.
Yes.
Chris, you go way back when you were on the Monmouth School Select Board, not Select Board,
Yeah.
School Board.
Before we switched over to the university.
And do you remember anything special about when we moved to the RSU?
Well, yes, I do. I remember it was put forward to the people to vote to join the RSU. And part of that was there would be significant financial penalties if we didn't vote to get into the RSU. And shortly after we got in, they did away with those penalties. And I was recommending we had to really join because there were significant financial penalties. So when you go forward with this, we kind of got into this thing on fraudulent
Exactly.
terms to start with. And I don't know if in more recent history, we've made efforts to get out of the RSU. We voted overwhelmingly in this town to get out, but we didn't hit that threshold of, I think, 960 votes or whatever it took.
6 votes.
And I understand some of the people that time from the school who did not want to
Did
get
not.
out, took they knew that was gonna be people in favor of it. They didn't
didn't
vote,
go.
so they didn't want us to get to that threshold.
Yeah.
So as you pursue this, I think you can feel comfortable that you have the people behind us. And what I think is most important is if we get out, the people of this town will be able to decide what they want to spend on their school, not people in Hollowell, which, they tend to dominate the number of people approving it, and it kind of overrides what we do here in this town. So
Yeah,
I
because,
support your efforts in and doing that.
Even if we vote no on the referendum and as Monmouth and Hollowell, Farmingdale and Dresden vote yes, then forget it. It's
That's happened.
a yes.
That we
And
have.
things there.
We have voted no,
Yeah,
and it's still passed.
so, yeah, I mean, nobody has ever been penalized, and the smart people in all of this were the ones that said, let's wait and see what happens. And, nothing ever happened, so.
Where the RSUs kind of seem to be dissolving anyway.
Exactly.
Richmond out, has Dresden got out? I know they would,
They haven't, but they have to bust their kids
So
in
they-
Olddale.
I would almost think it won't be as complicated as it might have been in the past, since there's not that.
You still have to go through the 25 steps, so.
Yeah, there is kind of a rigid
It's a
process. I don't
25-step
know what it is,
process.
but that's why I think we're going over to get the information, but I don't.
I know, I have all that paperwork
Yes.
because I was one of those 4 people, Rod Moody, Dave
Yeah.
Heckman, Jeff Goslin and me. We started having meetings over
The
in
fishing game.
Ron Moody's garage.
And then we had that big one at the fishing game.
Okay,
We had a huge.
Yeah,
fishing
right.
game.
and to try to get out of the RSU. And then we, had to go through some voting. Townspeople had to approve spending maybe, I don't know how much money. We had to get a lawyer who was had been involved in RSU withdrawals.
It's not cheap.
Down
No, it's not, yeah.
And then we had a bunch of meetings at the town office. But I still have all that paperwork. I got a drawer full of.
Right, because my understanding is that when Richmond withdrew, they did it with with their eyes wide open,
Yeah.
that their school commitment was gonna go up.
Up.
They just wanted to be able to control it. So
Control.
they're spending more in Richmond now than they were in the RSU, but now
That's
they,
where they want it.
right, but now they, quote, own their schools and they were okay with that.
And I
you know,
think that's the flavor of what's been happening because, I think, Kingfield, all of those schools, if they're Phillips, they're all and going through this, that people just are upset about local control.
Right.
And that's always been the thing that we have said, we want to
They
say.
told us quite point blank that we weren't gonna get a new school unless we were part of the RSU, because the RSU had more pull to get us higher up on the list for a new school. It was given on every report. That's, don't back out now, we'll never get a school.
Yeah. And,
And I don't know where we'd be now. It would be.
We're gonna pay a lot to buy back that school.
exactly, that's the
state
biggest thing.
Did it all. So
No,
I
you
don't know
will
that-
still have to pay it back,
We still have to pay the
Yeah.
RSU back because the RSU built it.
yes.
I heard it was state funding that,
Yeah,
because every,
it's all state.
yeah, that wasn't the RSU that
90%.
paid for it, yeah.
90% state fund,
Not true.
10%
We
ours.
paid a lot of extra money that the state would pay for a lot of inside stuff in there, plus the property that the
Yes.
state didn't pay
Yeah.
for. We upgraded a lot of things in that school that we paid, the RSU paid. We have to pay all of that back.
You know that.
I know that
Yeah.
because all came through my office
Yeah,
And you were there every day.
every day.
And the town manager didn't like you being there every day.
That's right, but I was there for you guys.
yeah.
I guess, what are we doing here?
We were in
We'll
select-
report back. She was just telling you that we're gonna go up. She wanted to come with me, so I set up a meeting to go talk to Rick to try to get the process so I could speak intelligently. If it's something that the town wants to do, I wanted to know what was going on, and I mentioned it to Kayla, and she said she was
Paid
interested.
off in like 2 years, depending on how
Incoming.
much we're paying now versus the cost to getting out. Like, we'll want to do a breakdown analysis and just, like, yeah, it may look like a huge number, but if you do it out over time, it might actually not be when you factor in how much we would theoretically have to pay more next year and the year after. So,
And, the other good conversation is with Richmond, because I think that they went through this and they had to essentially
They did it twice.
get their own teachers because those teachers didn't belong to them. So
Correct.
they had to, go through
Correct.
that whole process and, you know.
Right, because like the collective bargaining, I mean, there are all kinds of complications, right? It's a
Yes.
lot of work, like that. Their bargaining agreement would get chucked because it's not with the RSU, you would.
Yes,
So Monmouth would have to negotiate its
Yeah.
own collective bargaining agreement with the teacher, they're just, everything you go on, that somebody has to run the bus system, that you're gonna have to have your own superintendent, you gotta have someone to run the kitchens, you gotta, you have to have people that are all kind of, there's
Well, and the
there's a
funny
nutrition
thing is-
director for the
Yes.
RSU.
Well,
You
exactly.
need your own when you.
well, exactly, but.
Right? I mean, yeah.
But, we had done a lot of these things with Winthrop before we joined the RSU.
Sure.
We were sharing busing, we were sharing food, we were sharing all of that stuff. And, we bought our gas together with them, which, all kinds of different things we were already doing with Winthrop. But Winthrop said, we're not joining anything. We're gonna sit back here and wait. And that's why we jumped in with both feet, because we're RSU number 2.
Correct.
Not number 1, that was Bath.
Yeah.
We were number 2 is Monmouth.
Hey, Doug, I'm just thinking, rather than we go through a process of withdrawing from the RSU, because it's rather diminished as it is now, maybe there could be a mutual dissolving. If Paul Dale and them said, we'd like to dissolve, we're happy with it, we don't want to hold on.
They'll never do it.
I met the mayor of Hollowell, and he actually is concerned about the cost of, they're paying a lot less than us, but he's concerned because their enrollment is so low too, the cost of having those students in those buildings and like the overhead. Because he was talking about possibly consolidating schools in the future. He's like, we're paying less than you guys, but we're worried about it too, because when you factor in all the numbers, it just doesn't make sense given the enrollment.
The enrollment is down in
Yeah.
the whole RSU by quite a lot.
Well, that's just a demographic issue. That's
He was open to
reality across the
consolidation
state.
discussions.
I mean, unless you live in Biddeford,
Right.
you don't have a whole lot of young.
And the big problem is if you go Halldale and Monmouth, is we both have newer elementary, middle schools, and the high schools are the older buildings, right? So they're not really aligned well for fixing that problem either, it's like, but anyway, that's neither here nor there, just.
I have a quick
Caitlin
report.
and I will fix all of it.
Excellent.
Oh,
I have a quick report from the Economic Development Committee and a request. We did have a chance to talk to the fire department about their ideas on the UTV front. And we're sort of aware of the request and then trying to figure out how that would fit in with some of the other budget priorities from the TIF funding. So we can make an intelligent recommendation. It did come up that we have this new second TIF district, and that's the Route 202 district. And based on the revaluation, there's going to be some sort of increase in valuation that would start to deposit funds into that TIF district. And the question is, what are we looking at? So if the town manager could talk with Donna a little bit, ask her to look into what that TIF district might generate based on the new valuations that are there.
and Justin, remind me, I thought you had mentioned that there was
I promised
like
I'd put the request in.
percentage of what they could use of their.
Yeah, so generally speaking, and I think Reagan explained this to the Economic Development Committee, but generally speaking, it has to have some correlation to the amount of use. So let's say it's a vehicle, right? Because that's an easy one to do. That there has to be some correlation to the amount of money that comes out of the TIF to the amount that it's going to be used in the TIF district. So you can't just say, for example, like we pay a portion of the assessor's salary out of the TIF because she spends some amount of her time calculating this out. There are.
And your salary too.
And mine, a little bit of mine too, yep. And Reagan's, for example, comes out of it because she does all economic development, so all of hers comes out of there. But there has to be some reasonable relationship between the money that you take out of a TIF and what those uses are related to the TIF. Otherwise, right, you would take all the town office salaries and put it in the TIF to get it off of the tax rate. if you will. So the law does require to be,
So it's a percentage based on the amount of use within the TIF district.
yeah,
So.
or for its administration or
So if it's $80,000, they could only get 5% of
5 or
that.
10%
Yeah,
probably.
exactly. Okay.
Something along those
They
lines. I
couldn't
mean, you
get the
could
whole $80,000 because they would never be using that vehicle
only in.
only in the TIF, in the TIF district.
Correct.
Because it would be used townwide.
Yeah.
So, okay, see, that's what I remember. But
And you can get a little creative with that, depending on what you're trying to do. So for example, the town has approved trails and things to be part of the TIP funding. So you may be able to reach a little further than normal because you would say that this piece of equipment might be used for trails, which are not necessarily in the TIF district, but you're allowed to use TIF funds for that. So there are certain ways that you can get creative with it, but you just can't say, well, 100% of this fire truck is now in the TIF. Like you can't do it. It has to be
Yeah.
related to.
Okay. So that
So
makes sense to me.
We
That
had,
makes sense.
and we had a pretty thorough conversation about like, what is this gonna be used for? How is it gonna address some of the problems that we might be anticipating? How does it fit in with our surrounding towns? Like when we have a need for a UTV, can surrounding towns provide equipment if we're providing the staff? Response time, of course, is an important thing. And then we also had this conversation about, just financial priorities, because we know that the Main Street project, sidewalk project, is already in the pipeline. And that we're gonna be asked for, we don't know how much, but millions of dollars to augment what DOT is gonna be putting into that. And, coming at that ask with the largest down payment we can, that comes from a TIF fund and not from the general fund is the most advantageous. So, interest rates are in the 5 to 6% range these days. If we don't have to borrow 5 to 6% money, then that's a positive.
Which DOT was attempted to remove one of their first catch basins in the center of town yesterday, right by the railroad tracks and the monument, which I think didn't go well for them from what I heard or listened as I was walking by and heard from other people. So the catch basins are in horrible shape. And I think they were kind of surprised that there was a sewer pipe down there. Well, gee.
They weren't even apprised of all the problems that they've had with it over the past 10, 12 years
Yeah.
either.
Exactly. So, I guess DOT doesn't need to call DigSafe, but go
Whoops.
figure.
Did they break a sewer line?
No, but I heard the discussion about if I do anything else, I'm gonna break that pipe down there. And I said, yeah, that's the sewer pipe. I wouldn't do that if I were you. So. I see that,
Was this them starting their project?
well, I think that they were,
Catch basins?
yeah, doing
For the
catch,
drainage?
which is part of they need to do the catch basins
First, yeah.
before we do anything, because with the sidewalks, because the catch basins are all
Right.
running right next to the sidewalk.
course.
So,
That's what sort of precipitated
It's great
the
that they're.
discussion
Yeah.
about doing the village partnership initiative with them
Yeah.
was that they're gonna dig it all up and make a mess of it. So then the idea is that they try to help you put it back.
Well, I would look at that differently, and I would say that's probably good news that they're starting.
yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Because then, once they're complete, then we can actually begin the design stuff.
right. And we've already engaged Rob Prue, who's our guy from Pine Tree Engineering. He
Yeah.
did the Beaver Brook crossing. He's got a long-term relationship with Monmouth. He's already been in contact with DOT. So as soon as they're ready to sort of engage him, he's ready to work with us. And we'll have a public process about, what people want to see out there, whether they want to, put fancy streetlights or what types of, we're obligated to do all the ADA stuff. So you'll see, those bumpy pads and all that type of stuff that has to be put out to make us compliant.
Yeah.
And we'll move the telephone poles out of the sidewalk because those aren't ADA compliant either. Right, so some of that stuff we have to do as part of our arrangement with DOT. They're gonna want us to make downtown, ADA compatible, but then whatever else the town wants to do, the sky's the limit. I mean, it's whatever we want to pay for. Do anything.
And the funding for that's already been approved.
The DOT portion, so they basically, when they do their work, when you sign a village partnership agreement, they commit a certain amount of state money to our local project, which has nothing really to do with them. So they've committed, I think it's around $400,000 to Monmouth to try
So what
to
I'm
assist
saying,
us.
paying for design before we even get an approval of expenditures.
We have to have a design in order to even give the voters an opportunity to decide what they want to build. So we can use DOT money for that design process. That's kind of why that's why you kind of sign this agreement, so you can kind of get all your ducks in a row, and then you can decide as a community what you want to do. So if you think of like Wiscasset, you know how that all got rebuilt? That's the same type of program that we're going to be in, or like downtown Ogunquit when they rebuilt all the sidewalk. That's the same program that we're engaged in with DOT. But the town ultimately will decide the scope of it, but we've committed to doing the ADA improvements. So we could just leave it at that if we want.
When Winthrop modernized their Main Street, did they use the same?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's a very common tool that the state uses to try to help towns kind of fix their downtown areas to make them ADA. From the state's perspective, it's all about disability compliance. That's what they care about. But towns then choose to layer whatever they feel is appropriate for their own downtown to make it the way they want it. So you tend to do it kind of all at once.
But, you know, it's been a long time coming, and if you walk your dog down there, I walk it almost every day, and it's you know, the sidewalks are not great.
Right, 100%.
So,
In that money, survey to see how often it's used.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't understand.
In that money, is there a survey to see how much the sidewalks get used?
I don't know. No, it's nothing that DOT requires us to do.
but, you
So,
know, the sidewalks, I mean, for anybody that's out there, I mean, there's plenty of people out there
Oh, yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
I mean, and kids use them getting to school, and people use them to get from, you know, store to store, and
Which is quite surprising how many, especially like kids on bikes and stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of the bike usage.
yeah,
There's always people out.
oh, yeah,
It's nice to have them.
yeah,
And of course, we're talking about sidewalks. There's portions of sidewalks that have disappeared.
exactly.
And sidewalks, I think the last time they were worked on was about 1970.
When we had money. When the town had money.
Well, I don't know that, you know, the town is, you know, the town doesn't have money. It's all about, you know, what the townspeople decide they want to spend money on. So,
Right.
and we've been asked repeatedly as a board to improve,
To improve outdoor activities, making it a walkable community,
yes,
and just basic upkeep on the infrastructure that we have.
and that's why we've worked with the TIF district to.
Right. And so this TIF funding, and by the way, we've accumulated somewhere between $600,000 and $700,000 in this TIF fund, which is a special account that when we had the CMP substation and now the property's out on 202, it's a special account that shelters those funds from county and RSU contributions.
Right.
And so we get a little bit more spending power from those funds because they've been dedicated since 2012, 2013, in the case of the CMP substation. They've been dedicated for specific purposes. And the voters back then, in 2012 or 2013, approved that purpose. And the voters just recently, last year, when we asked them again, what are your list of priorities for these funds? Approved these purposes and added in some things like trails and some other outdoor recreational activity type things, water access, stuff like that. So we're trying to do the best we can to respect the wishes of the voters. When they tell us to do something, sometimes these things take multiple years. We understand that People's opinions and attitudes can change. But nonetheless, that's sort of the direction that we're headed in because that's what we were told to do. And the thinking, by the way, for repairing these 50-year-old sidewalks. And we got started about 4 or 5 years ago and did some sidewalks in North Monmouth, did some in Maple Street, and we did some in the Town Beach. The thinking here is that we're definitely looking at places that get used. I mean, that's the whole point is, some of those sidewalks, by the way, it's a sort of a chicken and egg thing. When a sidewalk disappears, yeah, it doesn't get used. Because the grass eats it away and people don't even know that it's there and they're walking in the street because it's easier. So, yeah, we're looking at, sidewalks that are inviting, that are compliant with our current law, like the ADA. And that maybe is a good path for kids to get from their house and walk to school rather than need a ride or take a bus,
Walk in the street.
and not walk in the street.
That's why we have a sidewalk up here. And if we have better sidewalks, more people will use them.
It's a chicken and egg thing.
Yeah.
It's not just about like, hey, it's Sunday, no one used the sidewalk, maybe we should tear them up. No, this is like, if you build it, they will come, and if you let it fall apart, they won't. And these sidewalks have been around since 1970 without, occasionally,
Telephone pole through the middle of it.
yeah. So
Which
only
makes
certain
it
people
hard
can use
to-
the sidewalks.
For the public
You can't
works to
clear the
clean them.
snow off of them, so you can't use them in the
Yeah.
winter.
It's difficult.
Right.
It's part of, kind of, maintaining a community too, in my opinion, it's, if you have someone, such as me trying to move to town or someone that's moving to town and whatnot, if you go through a town with these kind of grass sidewalks and stuff, it's like, wow, there's not much going on here, why do I wanna raise my kids, why do I wanna bring kids here, why are we? That's what we talk about, like the numbers,
Yeah.
numbers in Monmouth and numbers in Hollowell, it's everywhere, obviously, but you're trying to, bring it, make it town thrive, I think it's a big part of it, just, little things like that, and,
One of the numbers that stand out to me is the retired town manager once said, for every dollar you invest in your community, you get $8 back.
Yeah.
So, that's the big thing.
Well, anyway, at the Economic Development Committee, we had this conversation. And expressed our, I don't know if it was concern, but just observation that the fire department was requesting something that's brand new and would have additional, maintenance and expense when we haven't even really finished some of the, like, are we keeping things that we already have fixed types of infrastructure requests. So that topic did come up and we'll see.
When's the lighting improvements?
It's a good question. I saw the woman at the MMA convention and she sent me an email this week with the project manager. She's like the salesperson. So she's got me connected and they're trying to set up a kickoff meeting. So I don't know, but it's supposed to be this fall and the fall's quickly turning into the winter. So, so I'm hopeful very, very soon. She did connect me with the project manager, the guy that's actually gonna manage the work. So I'm hopeful that they're just about ready to start. I know it's mostly important. It's most important for the Public Works garage. We've held off on doing some improvements up to their lighting, knowing that this project was coming, but they have dark spots in there when they're doing, now that we do kind of a lot of our own mechanic work, it's important to have adequate lighting so they can see what they're doing. And right now the building doesn't really support all their activities, but, or if you come in my office, I only have one light left that works and I haven't had, the ballasts are gone in my things and I'm not replacing them because they're all gonna get torn out anyway and I don't wanna fix them if they're gonna come in and do it. So I'd like to have lights in my office too, so.
I think the electricity thing is
It's got a headlamp and.
some guy, emailed, I guess, all of us about, he's a code enforcement guy, and I didn't email him back,
No.
but you probably saw it, right? From up your way,
No, he has a company that
yeah,
doesn't,
he had an interesting resume, I know.
Garrett Lower. Code
I
enforcement,
don't recall. It
LPI.
doesn't mean I didn't read it, but I don't recall it.
But
I copied you on my, when I received it, I went back to him and I said, thanks for reaching out. I've copied our town manager.
Okay.
Go look for that.
All right, I'll look for it. I just don't, I don't remember. I may have seen it, but I don't.
It's a code enforcement solution. I know that we have a position filled.
Yeah.
And I know that he's very busy,
yeah,
Okay.
which is excellent.
He is. He's been very busy.
Well, it was just posted on our website, the code enforcement website, that Kennebec County is looking to hire that guy to start managing a service in Kennebec County to fulfill some of the vacant spots that have arisen in Kennebec County. So you'll hear.
Right, that's KV Cog.
KV Talk.
KV Cog, actually. And so I'm on the board of
Yes.
KV Cog. I represent Monmouth on that board. They did a pilot project for Somerset County. We have hired a full-time person through the COG with some grant money, and then we took money out of our unassigned fund balance of the COG to test pilot this thing, and it's worked out really well. But we limited it to communities under 2,500 people, and they had to be in Somerset County. And now we've gotten a lot of feedback from other small towns in Kennebec County as well, such as Rome. You know, the real small ones. It's not anything that we can take advantage of yet, because we're still trying to figure out how this is going to work and whether we can
Yeah, but it,
generate enough revenue to pay for the position, because right now the COG is sort of using its own money to
but
test pilot this thing.
this I saw was turned over to county commissioners.
Oh, what? Okay.
So now. the
So this might be a different
commissioners
issue.
Are starting to get involved in trying to supply with KV Cog, because you were mentioned in that article.
Yeah, okay.
To start supplying multiple CEOs where needed in Kennebec County.
And obviously our issue is that, guess what happened when we advertised a full-time position for the COG that paid more? We stole a CEO from a full-time person
Yeah.
from a town.
Yeah.
So we created a problem for them, but then we solved it. So there just aren't enough of these
Yeah.
people to go around,
exactly.
and we don't really know what the solution is, but that's a good point that you're making there.
Also, we got an email from Mrs. Sorois on Main Street.
And that's been remedied because I reached out to a water board member who reached out to Dan Wells, who responded
saw that.
immediately.
Yeah.
And so Dan and I answered her, so, and told her that.
I answered her too.
Yeah, I saw that. I answered only to her and copied Justin on, it's been addressed with Dan. Dan's aware. Dan's going to talk with the contractor and make sure that her driveway, but, there's a lot that's gonna happen before the paving plant's close.
Chris had solved it before I even read it, so I didn't have to do anything.
But
I just asked her to take care of it.
Yeah.
I
Her to call the water ministry.
emailed Richard and Richard was all.
Justin, could you fill us in on, just so that folks are aware, speaking of the Water Association, what they're doing with the North Main Street water?
Yeah, so there's been enough, my understanding from Dan is there's been enough financial commitments that they are moving forward. So there's an RFP posted right now to do the initial design work for the project. So we're now moving past sort of the trying to gather enough funds to move forward, that now they're moving into the design phase so that we can have sort of a complete cost of what it might actually be to do the construction. So I think it's moving along. I mean, in the last Monmouth Messenger, I included a letter from Senator Collins where she had committed, I think, an additional almost $3 million to that project. So it looks like, if they can ever pass a budget and open the government again, we might get the $3 million, but it's been included in the appropriations bill. So it looks like to me that the project is moving along faster than I anticipated. I thought this would be a long time coming, but it seems to be coming together. Maybe you have more, you have.
No, your knowledge is more recent than mine.
Okay, yeah,
But we are sort of waiting for a federal government budget.
yes,
Has to be an official budget, not a continuing resolution,
right.
for them to approve the final funding gap. And
Right, under normal order, it would be like sometime this month, right? But we're not under normal. Their normal process is all
messed up.
messed up.
This is because of PFAS.
Right, PFAS, yeah.
Fast, yeah.
In the water around the middle.
And and that also contributes to, Wilson Pond Road, not getting paved, those kinds of things, because we don't want to pave it and then
It's,
dig it up to put water mains.
it's the light issue.
Right. So we're trying to kind of manage that. We were thinking that maybe in this budget year, because I know Tony's getting really concerned about the quality of, that road is falling apart. And the longer we let it fall apart, the worse that it is. But I think that with the new updates, with them going out to RFP for initial design and everything, I think that we can maybe avoid doing some type of a skim coat on it and then digging it up again. But we were concerned that if there was no movement on this project, that going into the next budget, that he may come to you and ask if you want to, essentially do something over there to keep it from falling apart. But if it keeps moving, we may not want to at this point. So more to come. We're always waiting on somebody.
The comment. Okay. No public comment.
No hands.
Okay. Next is to consider appointing Thomas Hope to the Recreation Committee.
So he was in the initial batch, but his application, when it came through on the computer, it was so, it was illegible. So I asked him to bring one in, so that's why it's coming to you now several weeks later, but he was in the initial group. I couldn't read it, so I didn't put it in front of you.
I make a motion, we approve Thomas.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
He's got doctor's handwriting. It's a disease. I make a motion, we approve Thomas Hook, Recreation Committee.
I'll second that.
So the motion by Ken, a second by Chris to appoint Thomas Hope to the Recreation Committee. All those in favor? Thank you. Next is to authorize the sale of the used 2016. You're leaving.
I am. I'm
Police
recusing.
cruiser.
I'm recusing myself of this. agenda item. I know, but the best thing to do is to move away from the tape.
So we have 3 bids for this 2016 police cruiser.
Yes.
And I see one bid is absolutely superior to the other 2.
Yes.
And we know who it's gonna be, who's gonna be driving it.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, boy.
Well,
He won't try to,
Pull me over, all right.
yeah, he won't try to, what's the word I'm looking for? Impersonate a police officer. So
I make a motion that we approve the bid that is the highest bid, $4,850 by Darlene Sam.
I second it.
Okay, motion by Ken, second by Kayla to approve the high bid from Darlene Sanborn.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah,
we already have another vehicle.
that old police cruiser. All those in favor? Thank you. He's gonna be driving.
Yeah, he already did.
Next is to consider the 2025 municipal valuation return.
This is a document that the town is required to submit. Main Revenue Services, it basically lists out all of the detailed information about our assessment. So it includes Free growth, exempt values, the number of homesteads, all of the relevant information that has to do with property taxes and our commitment information. Since you are the assessors, Donna has submitted this on your behalf because it's due on November 1st, but when the auditor comes around from the state, they like to see signatures on them and you have to approve it. So that's why it's in front of you today. That's what, I think it was all in your packet. There's a lot of information in there, but it's really just, it's really informational for the state. It's a data collection tool for them.
It's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff in there, but yep.
This is public knowledge.
Yes, oh, yes.
You want to see it?
I already got it. I probably read more of it than you have. $4.9 million of worship properties in the town with all of them.
Yeah, that wasn't something I wondered about. It said there's two houses of worship and there's really three.
And you're $4.6 million. I think it's page
Yeah,
Page 5.
exempt value houses of worship. Well, there's more than that.
Parsonages.
There's the Latter-day Saints, there's the Jehovah Witness, there's East Monmouth Church, North Monmouth Church, Center Church.
When South Monmouth, right?
South Monmouth.
The South Monmouth, I think that's still a church. And so, and that's
six properties.
6, so, and I'd assume that the corner lot on 202 is valued considerably. So, plus the parsonages and the other buildings along with that, so.
Right, so to be perfectly fair, stuff that is totally exempt. So if you were to look at like the city of Augusta, it is not routine to go around and try to actually value what these buildings are worth because they have it's literally meaningless to the town. It's exempt. So it doesn't really matter what's being reported. So like the Veterans Hospital out in Chelsea,
Yeah.
right? It's got like some number on it. It's been on, the only reason I know this is because I used to work here. So there's a number on it of like $2 billion and it's been on that for 20 years. Nobody's gone out and measured the VA hospital in Togus in 20, 30 years because nobody cares. It's the same thing like Colby College and Waterville. No one goes out and measures the new building. So they might take a picture when they build a new one up so that they have it in their records, but nobody's spending any time to try to assess them because they're not accessible.
It's irrelevant.
Right, it's irrelevant. It's just a lot of time for data collection work. So, but that being said, if you want any numbers in there changed, we can change them. So if it's not correct and you would like it to be correct, please just let me know and we can adjust the report into the state. I bet that a lot of the exempt properties on there, I bet have just been kind of left as they were for a long period of time without anybody looking at them.
So if those numbers were to decrease or increase due to actual evaluation, would that hurt or harm?
They're exempt, so they're,
Understood, but would that like refigure the numbers in all of that?
no,
Understood, but it factors into the final dollars.
no, it doesn't. It's really just, it's really just data information for the
The
state.
thing was that I didn't realize there was that many places of worship.
Right, and
But still even 6 and you still got $4.5 million. That was just one of my points.
yeah, no, and I appreciate that. I mean, if this, like I said, if you want some of those things changed, just let me know and we can make an adjustment to that report. It's not a big deal. She submitted it.
Turn the house.
She submitted it before November 1st because if we don't, we get penalized every day that it's late on our tree growth. So she sends it in
Yeah.
and then she brings, and then the next time you guys can meet, because she doesn't want you to lose money out of your tree growth reimbursement. That's how the state makes you fill this thing out.
It's just tree growth.
Yeah.
Not
It's just tree growth. Yep.
Not open space or.
Nope. It's a pretty insignificant penalty, but she doesn't want you to get penalized for her just not filling out a form.
I make a motion to approve the 2025 municipal evaluation return.
Second.
So the motion by Chris, second by Ken to approve the 2025 municipal valuation list. All those in favor? Thank you. Next is to consider the assessor ordinance.
Okay, so this is one that you asked me to bring to you. It can't take effect for this particular year because it has to be approved 90 days before the annual town meeting. So you can approve it now, you can hang on to it for a while if you want to, but what this essentially does is you'd be appointing Donna or whoever it is that succeeds her as the assessor. So it would take that role off of you folks. I think the two major advantages is that, well, one with Donna, she's been here for 31 years, is my understanding. She's been here a really long, so she's familiar with this town. Two, it speeds up her ability to try to help taxpayers when they come in and appeal, because right now she's only here twice a month. And then she comes in and meets with them, and then she tries to go to their house to see what it looks like, and then she's got to wait for your meeting, and then she's not here for 2 weeks, so sometimes people are 6-8 weeks before they get an answer. If she's appointed the assessor, she can grant the abatements, she can supplement them, she can do all of that outside of your regular meeting process. Most larger municipalities, if you will, all have appointed assessors, but that's totally up to you whether you want to do it or not. This is one of the few ordinances that the municipal officers are allowed to do without the consent of the town meeting. So this is one of because you are the assessor, so you can appoint someone else to be the assessor is essentially how this works. The reason that it needs to be done 90 days before a special town meeting is because the law requires you to give, they need that amount of time so that if someone wants to appeal this, they can petition the overturn of this ordinance at the next open town meeting. Does that make sense? So that's why they say that you need to do it 90 days ahead of time. So
When I went to my training, this actually came up because of abatements, and
Yeah.
I thought that she could do everything but approve abatements. I thought that still had to come through the board.
no, not so,
So I had emailed you the law that,
right.
the lawyers for whatever our municipal association had, and
Right, there are three different categories of property tax abatements. One is hardship abatements, which only you folks can do. Those are the ones that are in executive session when someone can't fulfill their charges to the town and you get to make that decision. She won't even see those. Those generally come to me and I put them in your packet. We have an executive session and then you tell me what you want to do with them. The next one is anything up to 185 days from the date of commitment the assessor can do on their own. Up to 3 years, the municipal officers can do up to 3 years. Donna would still only be able to do that first 185 days, and then she loses jurisdiction. And then if they still want to come in, they have to come before the municipal
can we
officers.
put that in the ordinance? That way if people pull it up online, they know how the process is and there's not confusion if they are, pulling the law from the rules and regulations on the maine.gov website.
Yeah, I can add anything you want. This is just a form right out of the assessor's manual from MMA. So it's just a standard ordinance, but if there's any particular language that you want me to add in there, I'm happy to do it. And I can bring this back to you. It doesn't have to be done right now. I'm just bringing it because you asked me to. I'm comfortable with adding whatever you think is helpful in there.
Yeah, because I'd be fine as long as it specifies the different types of abatements that, he's allowed to do. That way, if that question were to ever come up in the future, it's already spelled out and they're clear.
Sure. Let me try to come up with something for that. Be happy to do it.
About a monthly report back to you people, so you know what she's done.
Yeah, I'd like that.
And the rest of us can see what goes on, because, it would be in part of the minute.
Well, and I think this first round of abatements will all still be seen anyway.
Yes, because
But going forward, we could ask her when she does take over.
If this gets approved,
Yeah,
yeah.
the next time around.
then you would have it, then we would have it.
Yeah, and then just say, we want to report on abatements.
I mean, it would be public knowledge.
Yeah, so all abatements and supplements are required to be put into the commitment book. So there's, if you were to take if you're in the town office, the commitment book has the full list of everybody's taxes, personal property, everything is listed with their name and address and all that. When an abatement or supplement is approved by you, we take them, we put them in those little plastic sheets, and they have to go in the back, because when main revenue comes in, they require all of those to be in the commitment book. They become part of the permanent record of the town's taxes. So yes, that's a long way of saying all of this information is completely public. You can ask for any of it anytime you want. So yes, a memo can go in that says the name, the map, lot, address, and what was done. That would not be a problem. In most years, she might do 2 or 3 of these, and usually it has to do something with, like you see them, it has to do with like an ownership change that we didn't know about or something. So it's like, it's abated to one person and supplemented to the next one, or divorce or something that we didn't get the paperwork on. So it was assessed to the wrong person. That's most of what she's doing. In a year like this, there's obviously a lot more, because you get a reval and there's a lot more abatement requests, but in a normal year, what this maybe, you guys maybe deal with 5 or 6 of these a year. So, yeah.
So, we're waiting, we're gonna be tabling.
Table that.
Yeah, that would be great, just so it could be on the record that it was tabled. So if someone wants to make that motion, that would be great.
I should have asked you this during department reports. We wanted to do that ordinance about, advertising signs. So if you could,
Yes.
start at some point, so we have it ready for June.
Sure. Yeah, I have a couple of examples, but the ones that I found so far are too complicated.
Yeah.
We have, most of those types of ordinances are in like Augusta.
Back around so that we were.
It's on my list.
Remembering
Yep.
it on our list.
It's on my, and I have the solid waste
Yes.
ordinance. I got some additional language put in there that was requested before last year about what the fines would be and all that. And I have a draft for that. I'll bring that to you shortly.
All right, so I make a motion, we table consideration of the ordinance to provide for a single assessor until our next meeting. Till our next meeting with revisions.
I second that.
There was a motion by Ken, second by Kayla to table the assessor ordinance till the next meeting. All those in favor? Thank you. The next is warrant number,
Change them to the date. So I didn't see the one. I didn't see the one for today yet. I'll have a look at my.
Yeah.
Did it come through? No, but I have the one for the 9th here, which is when you did have a meeting. Yeah. Fournier's Tree Service, $25,000. That's for the trail behind Cumston Hall.
That's TIF funded, correct?
Yes, that's correct. La Rochelle Consulting, Economic Development Person, $1,920. Maine Equalization Consultants, that's our assessor, $2,437. Maine Waste to Energy, 2 months, $14,759. Northeast Emergency Apparatus, repair to one of the fire trucks, $2,725. Pitney Bowes, this is postage, $2,690. Pro Tow Transport, $1,319, replace a drive shaft on one of the police cruisers. This one. RS Pedax, $57,600. That was the gravel crushing at the town pit that we split with Winthrop, so that we'll have some decent gravel to put in the roads. RSU number 2, $563,369. State of Maine Bureau of Motor Vehicles, $11,430, for a total of $690,436 for October.
I'm still trying to.
Is it coming up?
really,
Well, it's long.
That's the one might be long.
Yeah, this one's.
I mean, if you want to, I can print it, so I can do it at your next meeting if you want. So if that's what you want.
Because I've just been trying to get it to load, because I was
It's
in
taking
passion my
Okay.
phone, because this,
You want me to just make a motion for the first one then?
it's up to you guys, unless you want to try to wait for this to load.
I can have it printed for the next meeting if you want to.
I make a
I'm
motion.
able to load it if you did want to get it. So, you want to go through?
I can, I'm happy to.
Oh, you got it right there.
I just,
Says you.
I didn't get to
Yeah.
print it before
Mine's thinking,
thinking about it.
yes.
So it might be a little long because this is when we're trying to catch up with everything.
Yeah.
Andrew Scoggin Bank, 16,684. That's a debt service payment on a police cruiser. Andrew Scoggin Bank, debt service payment on the 2025 plow truck, $36,801. Blue Rock Earthworks for August, September, and part of October. Materials transport for the transfer station, $10,960. CAI Technologies, $3,000. That's our GIS system. Central Maine Power, $4,375. Cobussy Lake Association, $5,300. Dennis K. Burke, gasoline, $1,642. Eco Maine, tipping fees, $2,898. Elon Financial Services, that's the town's credit card, $2,518. Family Violence Project, this is one of the community service donations that the town makes every year, $1,125. Friends of the Cobussy Watershed, $11,850. Grimmel Industries demo disposal for the transfer station, $12,841. IIA Fire Department testing, this is what part of what the chief was talking about, fire hose test, ladder test, $6,564. Kennebec Valley Humane Society, our fees for them, $1,958. KRT appraisal, the last payment on their work is $26,103. Maine Equalization Consultants, the town's assessor, $2,437. Maine Municipal Association Unemployment Insurance, $1,060. Maine Municipal Association Workers' Compensation Insurance, $5,136. Maine Municipal Association, these are all these are all the bills that we didn't pay for a long time. This is for convention and some different trainings, $1,110 for various town staff people. Monmouth Sanitary District, $1,705. Monmouth Water Association, $33,221. Nickerson and O'Day, $47,038.56. It's the contractor for the academy next door. It's like all the bills from July till now. Northeast Emergency Apparatus, work on one of the fire trucks, $2,963. Sorry, $5,936 is several bills for that. Isabel. I can't wait till her name changes. I know, but it's not on here yet. 3,130, she's the town planner. She's the planner.
Is she staying?
I haven't heard that she isn't. Have you? That she's, because she got a new job.
I know.
I
Is she
haven't.
staying? Has she
Stay
stayed?
in her.
You're
Stay.
good. I hope so. She's been great.
Let's see here.
You do
Where
both,
am I?
To do us,
You can't do both jobs.
Good if she wants. to.
except that's full time.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we're her side gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're inside.
That we are, yeah. I think this is where I am. Proto Auto Transport, Police Department, oil changes, and some work on the Chief's Cruiser, $1,437. Rinaldi Energy Fuel, I believe Rinaldi does the diesel, so it's $7,341. RSU number 2, $563,369. RKO, the town's auditor, $10,000. Bureau of Motor Vehicles, 12,061. Tacoma Lakes Association, 1,500. Ibbot's Law, she's our bond counsel, $2,600. US Bank Trust, this is a debt service payment, $7,389. $1,662 to US Bank Trust. They also are the leaseholder on our photocopier, so it's like several months. I think I'm almost done. For a warrant total of $878,617.40. I think I got them all.
I make them, go ahead, Ken. Go
I
ahead.
make a motion, we approve, fiscal year 25-26 warrant, the warrant from October 8 and the warrant from October 27.
I'll second that.
So there's a motion by Kent, second by Chris to approve the warrants from 10/8 and 10/22. All those in favor? Thank you.
Before we adjourn, a question about RKO. Have we had a chance to follow up on getting our accountant to transmit the data to RKO for the next audit?
I spoke to Mark in early October, when I was at convention, because he had a booth up there, and he said that he was working on it, but he hasn't sent it over to them yet, as far as I know. I can pester him.
Could you? And can you also pester RKO about their alleged openings in November and December is what he said.
I make the motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
Our neighbor.
My cross the street
Where's
neighbor.
home?
Okay.